Thank you so much, Senator Graham. And here's where my concern was with all of this. This is Salman Abu Ghaith is alleged to have, he is the son-in-law of Osama bin Laden. He is someone who is alleged to be, from the reporting, one of the top, in the top echelon of Al-Qaeda. And there has also been information reported that he was in fact involved in the planning of 9/11 attacks and described as certainly a major core Al-Qaeda official. And if there's any doubt about that, just look at him sitting next to bin Laden after the attacks on September 11th, which were, of course, attacks on our country. He also, in late 2001, and I believe this is around the time of this here picture that you're looking at, appeared on Arab television and urged Muslims to fight the United States and warned that there would be more 9/11 type attacks from obviously Al-Qaeda, led by then still alive Osama bin Laden. So here is someone who clearly is an enemy combatant. And there have been announcements by the administration that they would, we have heard, and that this has not been confirmed, but we're very concerned and why we're following this case, that he would be transferred to New York City. Do you remember the discussion we had with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in New York City? Well, what this comes down to, and what the concern that we have and why we will follow this case very closely, is that if you bring him to New York and put him in a civilian trial, then things like speedy presentment, Miranda applies to him. And when it comes to someone who has been a top official who, if it is true that he was involved in planning the events and attacks on our country on September 11th, then we have no doubt that he was a top official in Al-Qaeda. Just look at him sitting there right next to Osama bin Laden after those attacks. We certainly don't want him to come to America before he has been fully interrogated to make sure that we know everything that he knows about Al-Qaeda, and let him hear the words, "You have the right to remain silent." And so that's what this is about. If we criminalize the enemy combatants like that and bring them to America and apply all the rights, he's not an American citizen, that Americans have in civilian courts in this country, we lose valuable intelligence that can be used to prevent future attacks, can be used to understand further who else is involved in Al-Qaeda, what they're planning against our country, and used to protect America. So he should be going to Gitmo. He should be kept there and questioned to make sure that we know everything that he knows. And the fact that we would be thinking of bringing him right to New York City, it really does not make sure that we know everything that he knows, that we protect America. And that's why we will be following this case very, very closely, because there's no doubt that on September 11th, our country was attacked on our own soil. And if this man, right next to Osama bin Laden, is involved in the attacks on our country on 9/11, don't you think it would be important that we not tell him he has the right to remain silent, that we find out everything that he knows, who he's been associated with, what he's been doing since then? Has he been involved in future attacks against us and our allies? And if we bring him to New York City, then all the rights that apply to an American citizen in our civilian court system will prevent us from doing that, and that's wrong.